Hello and welcome to another Pokemon Wi-Fi battle. As you can see, this is an NU match against my bestest buddy Brian. But he's not actually my best friend because when you tell your best friend that another person is your best friend, they're like, heck no, tech no, and then you have no friends all of a sudden. So I lead off with my Scolipede as he goes out to his Obelisk, his Gigalith, and we just start setting up hazards on each other. Me with the Toxic Spikes and he with the Stealth Rocks. He uses Earthquake, but I am sashed, but it doesn't really matter because he breaks the sash immediately and he doesn't even bring me down to it. And he goes out to his aids, but that's his aids cannot absorb the Toxic Spikes because it is already diseased and it's all floating around in the sky. So I take this opportunity to set up a layer of spikes as he goes for the Thunderbolt. That Thunderbolt is pretty weak and it is not enough to kill me. So I set up the second layer of spikes, so right now I have 2 layers of toxic spikes and 2 layers of spikes, and, you know, his team is looking pretty effed right now, and I'm sitting pretty. So he kills off my Scolipede, and I go out to my Miltank because he's a flippin' cow, and cows are awesome, and it's a she, Zach, it's not a he. Set up a layer of Stealth Rocks, and he goes for the status move, but unfortunately for him, I do have the Lumberry. And I have the Lunberry as opposed to the leftovers on this Miltank because the only really good way and reliable way to kill a Miltank is to toxic it. And it already has a reliable form of recovery in the form of Milk Drink. Seeing as to he can't do anything to my Miltank with his aids, he sends out his Obelisk, his Gigalith, to take the Seismic Toss. And I didn't know that his plan here was to, oh well, you'll see in a moment. So he takes a boat's load of damage from the entry hazards and from the Seismic Toss, and I am just come narrowly short of 2 hits KOing that thing. So he just goes for the flippin' explosion with a flying gem, not a flying gem, a normal gem boosted explosion, and I'm just praying to the devil at this moment that my Miltank doesn't die, but unfortunately she does go down. Bessie, I knew thee well. So that was the first double KO of the game, and there are many more. And trust me, this game is fun, for lack of a better term. So I send out his aids, and he sends out his aids, and I go to my 3 penises, but my penises don't want any aids, so I send out my Slowking to take the aids, and Slowking already has aids, so it's like, whatever. I'm already African. So, he's not going to mind the aid so much. He goes for the Flamethrower with his wheezing on my Slowking. I'm like, what the heck is he thinking? Why didn't he go for the Thunderbolts? But I just Dragon Tail him out to kind of shuffle his team around and get things with Toxic and Spike and Rock damage because of all these hazards. And hazard is so important in the NU metagame because there is a very little amount of reliable rapid spinners, if any. So since I made that Emboar, I know that it is banded and it's going to want to go for the Volt Change or Volt Tackle, whatever. Wild Charge, that is the move. Wild Charge, so I send in my Dugtrio to take the Wild Charge, and he is locked into it and cannot escape because of Arena Trap. So I go for the Earthquake, OHKO it, and in hindsight I probably should have killed it with the Night Slash, so I could kill him them nuts that he sends in to resist the banded Earthquake. I don't want my Dugtrio to die at this point, so I switch out into my Gardevoir to take whatever move it wants to throw at me. These things are usually specially based, and Gardevoir has a 350 Spec D, I do believe, but that is a Spec D Leaf Storm coming from a stab boosted Exeggutor, and that brought me down to very little health, I must say. Maybe about 20% health left. So I just protect here to kind of get some more HP back with the leftovers, so I could come in again and, you know, save this thing from dying. So I can't really wish, and I can't take another hit, so I'm just gonna switch out to my Cling Clang in order to take the Leaf Storm. And that is a -2 Leaf Storm he is using, but keep in mind, look how much damage it does. It does over 50% and it is resisted. You know, this thing is very powerful and I underestimated its spec attack a lot. So he doesn't really want to go out for another Leaf Storm and bring him down to -6. He goes out into his Weezing in order to take the Grind Gear. I opted to go for the Grind Gear instead of the Shift Gear so I could just get damage on whatever wants to come in, and it brings it down to Red Health, which is a solid 2-hit KO on that thing. So I decided to go for the Hidden Power, seeing as that thing's Spec D isn't all that great, but Cling Clang's Spec Attack isn't all that great, so HP Fire is not going to do much at all. So that was a big mistake on my part. And I just go for the gear grinds again so I could kill it in one hit. So I really should have just done that in the first place, but me being a derp, I wanted to see how much power and HP Fire did. He brings him his Executor again, dem nuts, and I just go for the return, seeing as a very little smidgen of HP, and I don't want to switch into anything, because switching on a Choice Bandit or Choice Spect attack is not a good idea ever, unless you are immune to it. So that was the second double KO of the game, and he sends in his Pikachu, how cute, and I send in my Dugtrio to trap it. He goes for the Fake Out. I'm thinking that I could take the hit, but he gets a Flippity Flapjack crit. And at this point, I'm thinking that I'm going to lose this game because I only have 2 Pokemon left, and one of them is a Gardevoir with sketchy amounts of HP, and it is slower than this thing, so I'm not going to be able to wish and get some HP back. So I just go for the Protect, get leftovers back, and the only move he can use is Return, because he also has Volt Switch and Volt Tackle. And I have Lightning Rod because of Trace, which is pretty cool. And I just Protect again, get the double Protect, so I can get to a reasonable amount of HP, maybe 20%-ish, a little over 20%. So, seeing as to he will only go for a Return unless he has a Derp or a Psychic and can read my mind, I bring in Slow King to take the Return because Slow King is freaking bulky. And the reason why Slow King is bulky is because when he was a kid, he swallowed a King's Rock, and it never came out, so his trainer just punted him to his friend, and on the way down he evolved, and that's how Slow Kings were made. He goes for the Return again, predicting my switch into Gardevoir, but I don't really need it at this point because Gardevoir's only role was to Toxic Stall out his Pokemon in this battle. I didn't really get to use its full potential with Will-O-Wisp and Wish and all those shenanigans, but, you know, it did a job on my team. Good enough for me. And we are down to our last 2 Pokemon. He has a Toxic Wartortle while I have a Burn Slowking, and in this scenario, Slowking is going to win. So I just decided to Toxic Stall that thing out, and he seems to be doing the same thing to himself while going for the Protect and prolonging the inevitable. So his toxic damage is just racking up, and I have Slack Off, which gives me a reliable form of recovery, so he's not going to be able to do a darn thing about me, because I'm already burned, he can't status me, and I am bulky as heck. So he is just going to forfeit the match here, lose with dignity, and that will be the game. So if you enjoyed this Wi-Fi battle, and if you enjoy NU at all, please subscribe, because every Wednesday there is going to be an NU battle posted, one way or another. There's no guarantees, but that's just the goal, and I tend to uphold that goal. So, thank you for tuning in, and until next time, toodaloo.